So my name is Papa. I'm the founder and executive director of the African Leadership Group. It's an organization that solely focuses on the professional integration of African immigrants. As you know, we all leave the country we call home to come here to seek opportunity. And we have that dream. But quite often when we get here, that dream can be shuttered and shoveled away and we are lost. Not because we're not smart, just maybe because we might not knock on the right door. The African Leadership Group is here to identify the resources we need as immigrants. To really, if anybody had the dream of becoming a doctor back home, when they come here, they can pursue the same exact dream. If anybody had the dream to become a mayor or to run for office one day, when they come here, the African Leadership Group will facilitate that process. We can only do that when we come together as one. That's when we call ourselves a community. If you look at the word community, there's one strong word that's in it: unity. We cannot achieve all these things we're trying to do without that unity. So you are here to be part of that piece of that puzzle. Your presence here is extremely important. If you are here for the first time, we hope you will come back. If you are here for the second time, we hope you go out there and tell somebody else about the great job we do and invite other people. You are here today to listen to some leaders we have in the community, because we know that we have it here, but sometimes we struggle. How do we express it? How do we get it out? For many reasons. For somebody like me, it's because I speak English with an accent. And my French accent sometimes can get into the way with what I'm trying to say in English. With the African Leadership Group public speaking class, we help members of the community to build their character, their content, and their confidence. We know it's not that easy to speak in public, but we know if we want to advocate for anything, we have to stay on top of the Capitol and get that message out. That's what we are here to build. We are building those future leaders we need in the community. We are building those powerful voice. Yes, powerful. It has to be powerful to be heard. If that's a weak voice, it doesn't matter what the content is, people might interpret it in a different way. So this evening you will have the opportunity to hear from those leaders, men and women, yes, because our women has to be involved in the process. We cannot do it without them. They have the same talent we do. They deserve the same exact things that we do. That's why they are involved in the process as well. But without further ado, we have some guest speaker. Why I wanted to invite this guest speaker? Because they went through the same journey that we are going through right now. They were kids at some point in their life. They had to go to school. They had to struggle with their grade, but still they came out to become that powerful voice we need in the community. What a better person to hear from them, because they've already been through it. So I would like to have these people to come and tell us, what was it like for them? Because quite often you go out there, you have a dream. The people that you call your friends, they're the first one to doubt you. They're the first one to call you crazy. I want to hear from them. How was it when people call you crazy? How was it when you try to gather 10 people and one show up, but the next day you still try the same exact thing? Because we don't stop here at the African Leadership Group. So I have two powerful guests. One of them, she's a woman that really advocates for minorities, that advocates for African American people, that been through a lot in her own journey. So please help me welcome Senator Rhonda Fields. Thank you so much for being here.
So thank you for organizing all the different activities that you have to lend voice to the community. So it's so very important. So I want 5 people to join me for this discussion. And so I'm going to ask you to come up, because I want us to practice, if we have time, what I'm going to be talking about. So think about volunteering. I only want 5 people. Maybe we could have 3. I don't know how much time I have. 3? 3 minutes. I have 3 minutes?
We have graduate students, so that's why.
Okay. Yes. Forget the volunteer part. Next time. Papa, I need more time.
I'll give you more time next time.
Okay. So Rhonda Fields, I represent Senate District 29. That starts at Colfax and Yosemite, and it goes east all the way down to Deer Trail, Watkins, Byers. Then it goes south all the way to Iliff, which includes Saddle Rock, Southland, Heritage Bend, Buckley Air Force Base, Aurora Town Center, and the Motor Mile. So that's the folks that I represent. My advice and recommendations to you is that you have to know the difference between truth and facts. There is a difference between truth and facts. The reason I say that is because we live in a moment right now that's political that wants you to believe in alternative facts. Now, the fact is, Trump is our president. That is a fact. But the truth is, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by millions. Rosa Parks, for example, knew the difference between a fact and a truth, because her truth that day, when it was time for her to get on the bus, her truth was, I am going to speak truth to power, and I am not going to take a back seat. My feet are tired. I've had a long day at work, and I'm going to take my seat right now, right here, today. And so she took a seat on the front of the bus. The fact is, she didn't have a right to that seat. She wasn't entitled to that seat. So as you find your voice, as I'm closing, as you find your voice, you need to understand your truth. Because we live in a world where people will try to shape you into believing their facts. And their facts may not be your truth. So learn how to speak truth to power and lend voice to your own personal truth. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Everybody know about the African Leadership Group. It's because of every single person that's sitting in this room. Please, don't take the little work you do for granted. Because anytime we can come together, that's how we are building that powerful voice. And every single elected official in town know who we are and what we stand for. So with that, I would like to invite another friend of the African Leadership Group. When he heard about the work we do, he took the time to come and witness with his own eyes and appreciate and support and wanted to be a partner and somebody that support the African Leadership Group with all the activities and events. Please help me welcome Jason Crowe. Thank you.
Always tough following Senator Fields. She's an amazing leader in our community, and wow, those words were amazing, so thank you, Senator. My name is Jason Crowe, and I am running for Congress right now, and I want to just say a thing or two to the students about what it means to speak and what it means to lead, just based on some of my own experiences. Being in politics right now is not easy. We all know that. Senator Field knows that better than I do. There are people who will question you, people that will malign you, people that will say things that aren't true about you and your path, that have never met you, people that will spread rumors about you. But when all of that is happening, you always have to come back to your story. And there's a confession that I have to make here. Despite the fact that I'm running for Congress, and I've given hundreds of speeches, and I've spoken at national conventions in front of millions of people, every time I get up to speak, I still get nervous. Because it's a tough thing to do. Because people judge you, they look at you, they're dissecting every word you have to say. But here's what happens. When you tell your story, you own it in a way that nobody else does. Nobody else has walked your journey. Nobody else has seen and experienced and done the things that you have done in your life that has brought you to your point right here, to sit here in your seat right here tonight. That is your story, nobody else's story. And when you speak from the heart and you tell your story, it doesn't matter what anybody else says or thinks, because you own that. You know it better than anybody else. And if you tell that with heart, then the nervousness goes away, and it doesn't matter what anyone else has to say or how they will judge you. So, when you're telling your story, just remember that. Have that confidence that if you tap into that, and if you tell it with genuine and authentic heart, People will know it. People will see it. They will understand who you are, the path that has brought you here, and you will gain tremendous strength from that. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the leadership of everybody here tonight. And for those students, you have nothing more powerful in your life than your story. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Wow. It sounded like everything that Majama will share in his class. And thank you so much for those words, because I know some of our students walking in, some of them did not expect to see all of you here this evening. Some of them are very upset with me right now because they didn't know what to expect. But that's exactly how we learn. We expect some of you will be nervous, some of you will make mistakes, but we are here as a family. We'll go through this part, and one thing that I would like to let everybody to know is this is not a graduation. So they had few classes, so we say, okay, let's bring the community out so they get to have a feel about how it is to talk about in front of people you never met before. To add to what Jason is saying, yes, I've done a lot of speeches. Anytime we have the African Leadership Group, I'm the one speaking, but I'm still nervous. But when you stick to your story and talk from your heart, nobody knows it better than you do. Thank you. Those are very powerful advice. Thank you so much. Now, without further ado, I would like to share with you very quick with some of the programs that we run. The African Leadership Group focuses on 3 areas. We focus on social impact, economic impact, and educational impact. Education is the key to success. Anything you try to do and achieve in life, you have to have some type of education. Either you are going to school, paying those tuition, reading those books, or you are having a mentor, or you're learning in life. You have to educate yourself. If it doesn't add value to anything to the community, the African Leadership Group won't touch it, won't play with it. So education is the key. Now, when we talk about education, there's a lot of things that goes in place. There's a charter school, there's a public school, there's private school. As immigrants, we did not have all the information we needed in order to identify the best school for our children. That's why the African Leadership Group take it on itself to organize a forum on school choice. So we're going to come here, bring the community together, and we're going to talk about how do you choose a school when you come to sending your children to high school, when you come to sending them even to kindergarten. So we have that event on Saturday, March 3rd. It's at 5:30 to 8 o'clock. Please put it on your calendar, and there will be more information coming from Sylvia. So to let you know, if you have any question regarding what we do when it comes to education, connect with Sylvia. If you could stand up and everybody can see you, and she deserves a round of applause. She does an amazing job. So thank you so much. And also, we are working on having a construction forum. Why? I strongly believe that we don't chase money. It's just something that I've learned. I've seen people, you ask them, how long you been chasing money? They will tell you, all my life. And you ask them, have you caught it? They will tell you, no. I don't see any sport that you get to run for your life and you don't win a gold medal. So if you're chasing money for your whole life and you haven't caught it, you're most likely doing something wrong. I believe what we do is we sit down, we watch, we see where the money is going. We go and wait there and wait for the money to come to us. If you look at what's happening now in the city of Denver and the state of Colorado, we all know the state is growing. We got thousands and thousands of people moving into Colorado every month. What does it mean? We need new houses, new buildings, new roads. We don't have enough labor to keep up the pace of how the city is growing. People that are in the construction industry need more labor. They need to subcontract people. And there's a lot of money in that industry, my friend. So we are doing a construction workshop. Anybody that's interested into tapping into that industry where you can have a $100,000 contract, we have experts in the room that will help you and guide you through how to make it happen. There's more information to come regarding to that. The other thing we have going on is on March 26th, we have an African Day at the Capitol. Yes, an African Day at the Capitol. We're going to have members of the community to spend a whole day at the Capitol to go through session, to legislature, to sit down with the senators to know what they're voting, what they're advocating for us. We got to learn this thing. It's on March 26th. Put it on your calendar, and it's 7:30 to 2 o'clock. We'll have breakfast and lunch, but would like all the community to come out. Now, let's get to the most important topic of the day, which is the student that's been taking the class. Well, the facilitator is going to be upset with me because he wouldn't want me to put him on the spot. I am the last one credible to do any public speaking class teaching. Majama is the main facilitator that facilitated the class. He doesn't want to be seen, but thank you so much, and let's give him a round of applause for. And what we do is anybody that graduates from a class, we identify that person that has the passion, the desire. We put that person in that leadership role to guide the next class. Sylvia went through that and graduated, and the last graduation, some of you had the chance to meet Faith. Faith graduated and did an amazing presentation, and now she's really leading and facilitating the class. So please help me welcome Faith. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing tonight? Yeah. I'm so happy that you're all here. You know, it's Tuesday. You could be at home, you know, watching Netflix, anything else, but you're all here, and I'm so grateful that you're here tonight. So my name is Faith Martini. For the last few months, I have had the privilege of being a part of the African Leadership Group, and it has been such a blessing to me. You know, being a part of it has allowed me to grow, to explore different aspects of leadership, and it's been really a blessing. And once I graduated last year, I was able to get the opportunity to start leading the public speaking class. And so we've been doing that for the last month, I want to say. And so we've had a few sessions where we've just learned more about public speaking, you know, what goes into public speaking, some of the qualities that you need to develop as a speaker, and so forth. And so during those 2 classes, we've identified some of those skills that you need to have as a speaker. And today, we kind of want to showcase, I guess, what we've learned. And we have been reading a book called Think and Grow Rich. I don't know how many of you have heard of that book. It's by Napoleon Hill. It's a really nice book. It's very life-changing. If you haven't heard of it, you should definitely look into it. But today we'll be presenting on that book, Think and Grow Rich. And so I have all the students that are going to be presenting. I'm going to call you. And if you don't mind just joining me, and we're going to sit up here. And the presentation today is going to be about 5 minutes long. So as the audience, I do hope that you can be able to help them, because, I mean, this is a learning class. So they're all showcasing their skills. Some of them are still not at their expertise. I mean, we're not all expertise. We are all learning. So if you want to just provide that support as they're presenting, I would really appreciate that. But for today, we have, I'm going to call you and you're just going to come up here. Angela, if you want to join me. And we have Marielle as well. Thank you. And Kadi, if you want to join me up here. And then Moses. Rosemary. We have Arinze. Juliet. Anita. And Rich. And then we also have Baba. And Usman just joined us. So if you want to join me up here, Usman. Okay. I think that's all we have at the moment. And we should have some. Oh, Mamadou. I'm sorry. Mamadou. Please join us. Okay, so as I said, everybody will be presenting from the book Think and Grow Rich. We're going to be going from chapters 2, which is starting off from desire, to chapters 15. And they all have 5 minutes to present. So I'm going to let them get started. So to begin with, we have Angela with desire.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Angela Dapa. I speak French. I'm from Ivory Coast. So please excuse my heavy French accent. Okay, so I have to talk about the chapter 2 of the book, Think and Grow Rich. And this chapter is talking about our desire. So basically, what this chapter is talking about is how to turn all our desire into reality, and is helping us to turn everything we want to achieve in the world, in our life, into reality. So there is two main things we have to achieve in order to turn those dreams into reality. And on the first day of class, I remember we were all asked to put our dreams on the board, to put something we want to achieve before we die on the board. And some of those dreams was pretty big. Some of us seem simple. But you know what? All of these dreams we have on the board, we can achieve them if we put our mind into it, if we believe in ourselves. So like I said, there is two main things we have to do before in order to turn our dreams into reality. We have to be able to turn them into something we really, really want, an obsession. We have to constantly think about it, put it in your mind. And then you have to be able to say exactly what you want to achieve. If you want to buy a house, you have to be able to say, I want to buy a house. I want to buy this house. Like, be specific about what you want to achieve. Say, for example, I want to buy a 2-story. I want carpet or hardwood floor. Be specific about what you want. That will help you to be able to put a cost, a value on your dream, because everybody will want to help you. That's the first thing they're going to ask you. They're going to ask you what you want to achieve. And if you don't know exactly what you want to do, how those people are going to be able to help you, to assist you, to guide you, to give you the advice you need to achieve your dream. Also, you have to be able to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who is going to buy into your dream? Who is going to believe in you? So that's things we have to put in practice. Learn how to define our dreams. Say, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. And also be able to turn those dreams into something like an obsession. Act like, if I don't do it, I'm going to die. If I don't do it, my life won't be complete. So we have all of these things we have to learn. We have to practice. We have to be able to work on it in order to achieve what we want to do. Also, when you want to accomplish something, when you have a dream in your mind, work on it. Take the time to get the knowledge about it. It doesn't matter how many times you will try and will do it. If you fail, learn from your failure and keep going. Don't give up, because the difference between people who succeed and the people who don't is that what people dare to dream, but they stick to the plan. They don't give up. So we already all have some dreams. Let's work together on the second step, which is believe in ourselves and stick to the plan we want to achieve.
How are you? My name is Teklit. I am from Eritrea. Today I'm going to present the topic Desire from the book Think and Grow Rich, written by Napoleon Hill. The starting point for achievement is desire. The winners must have two things. One, the burning desire, and the second is definite goal. Nothing stops a man if have a desire for achievement. But not to forget that we harvest what we plant. Small desire brings small results, and big desire brings big results. As I said, the starting point for achievement is desire. If you see all the great persons that brought big change in this world, they first have desire, like Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, or the two brothers that invent airplanes. If the desire does not go through with practical action, it's just a wish. Wish cannot bring change. If you have only desire, you are out of the game of the achievement. You are only the observer of the achievement. So if you have a desire, you have to start a plan to reach your destination. While you are going towards your destination, you may have some you may happen some failures in your way, either when you start your way, or at the middle of the way, or when you are close to your destination. But don't give up. If you are looking back, you are already losing your victory. Keep in your mind, your enemies are running towards you, and you are running away from them to escape. The enemy of desire or achievement is failure. According to my experience, my desire is to come to the United States, to the land of opportunity. I have an option to go Europe by crossing Mediterranean Sea and risking my life, as most of African immigrants do. But my desire is to come to the United States. I lost golden age in refugee 5 years. Finally, I reached my destination. But the big example about this is good example about this is Thomas Edison. He failed 10,000 times. He can stop when he failed. He could stop when he failed again and again. He would rather understand that the 10,000 ways do not work. He understands from that he approach in different way to perform his desire. Think in your mind, if he stopped his desire, when he stopped his desire, when he reached 9,999, you will not see me because of this light. Yeah. So the obstacles is simply like a course to develop an achievement muscle. It strengthens the power of achievement. Every failure brings with it the seed of equivalent success. Yeah. So when you reach at the age of understanding, everybody wants money. For example, I need money to help my parents to buy a home. You may need money to send your kids to better schools. So I'm going to explain the 6 principles of desire for riches to transmute it to equivalent success. 1, decide how much amount of money do you want. Second, when you have this amount of money, what do you want to do with that money? Third, you have to set the date when you want to acquire the money. Fourth, determine or set the plan. When do you perform or how to carry out to your desire to practical action. Fifth, you have to write down in brief and clear statements all these 4 principles. Then the 6th one is like read loud to yourself, and especially before sleeping and when you wake up. And when you read, see and believe. See and feel like yourself is already acquiring the money. So all in all, what I can understand from the desire is like you need 2 things. 1, you have to have a desire. Second, you have to have a definite goal. That is impossible in this world. If you have a belief, it's being said in the Holy Books, if you have a belief, you can move the mountain. Thanks so much.
Good evening to you all. My name is Anita Yaboa. I'm from Ghana. This evening, I'm going to be talking about the topic faith. It's part of the principles of Think and Grow Rich. Before I actually define what faith is, I'm going to be sharing a story with you. So once upon a time, there was a lady who had health issues. And to be specific, she thought she had breast cancer. The reason why she thought she had breast cancer was her mom died of the same symptoms that she was experiencing. She called the pastors to pray for her. She called the leaders to pray for her. She called me I encouraged her, I prayed with her, and I asked her a question. I said, where is your faith? I said, do you believe that you can be healed? She said, yes. I said, let's embark on the journey of faith. Because without faith, it's impossible to do anything. Faith is the only antidote for failure. And if you believe you can do it, trust me, it will happen. So, we went to the hospital, she did check it, and the doctors did a few, diagnoses here and there, and they would give her the result later on. So we're still praying. She calls, and they said, we're still doing our checks. But the reason why she thought it was cancer was, like I said, because of the symptoms that she had. A few months later, she had a phone call from the doctors, and they said, guess what? This is not cancer. This is not what you thought it was. The only reason why you think it's cancer is because of the symptoms, but you're only reacting to a cream that you've used before. And you have allergic reaction. So that's the only reason why you think it is. Thank God she was very excited she didn't have cancer. What am I trying to say? Sometimes things happen to us. We kind of give up because we don't have faith. If we want to be successful in life, if you want to achieve whatever your dreams and your desires are, my brothers and sisters, let's keep the faith going. The Bible says that without faith, if we have faith, as little as the mustard seed, we can cause the mountain to move and it would move. Faith can do anything. That's all I can say to you. I leave you that think about it. Believe in your dreams. Have faith in whatever you do, and it will come to pass. Thank you very much.
I can just speak from there. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Well, thanks for being here tonight. I'm going to be speaking of a concept called autosuggestion. Who had heard of the concept autosuggestion in the room? Very good. And who have practiced the concept of autosuggestion in the room? Very good. So I have a news for you. Whether you know it or not, we are practicing autosuggestion all the time. Autosuggestion is basically a self-suggestion, what we're telling to ourselves. So this concept, if not the most important concept of the book, Think and Grow Rich, certainly one of the most important concepts. So what's important, basically what it's saying, what's important is not what the outside will tell you, but what you say to yourself. That's what would determine your future and your destiny. So since this is Black History Month, I'm just going to share the story of a man who I think deserves to be mentioned in this room tonight. And if you know his name, just call him. So he was born in Louisville, Kentucky, January 17, 1942. Any clue? Muhammad Ali, yes. So I'm going to give this speech in honor to Muhammad Ali. So, and I think he's the one who demonstrated more than anybody else the power of autosuggestion by his famous line, I am the greatest. I am the greatest, he said, regardless of what anybody can say. In a society where his own freedom was refused and denied, he first shows that believing in yourself can take you in an arena where nobody was expecting you to be. He was born in a Christian family, but his heart was telling him to be a Muslim. So he decided to change his name from what he called a slave name, Cassius Clay, to Muhammad Ali. He had to fight with his community, his church, his family, because he believed he is the greatest. The second event of his life happened in 1967. The US government wanted to take him to Vietnam to fight a freedom that he couldn't find in his hometown. He said, I'm not going to fight no Viet Cong when I cannot find freedom in my own home. I bear the greatest name of all. I am the greatest. He was stripped of his medal of championship. he still believed he was the greatest. He was sent to jail. He still believed he was the greatest because even in the darkest moment of his life, he said to himself, I am the greatest. And the third moment of his life, and sometimes this brings tears to my eyes. Very recently in 2002, he was about to be nominated in Hollywood, an honor usually reserved to star musicians and entertainers. They said, Ali, this is called the walk of the star of Hollywood, the Walk of Fame. He said, I'll take it. Before him, 2,500 stars and musicians and entertainers have gained this honor, but every one of them were laying on Hollywood Boulevard. He said, I was named after the greatest man who ever lived. My name is Muhammad Ali. Unless you put the star on the wall, I don't want it. I am the greatest. And guess what? That request was granted to Muhammad Ali. He is the only one, just like this star on the wall in Hollywood. Everybody else is laying on the floor. So to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say as immigrants sometimes, people call us names. I'm not going to mention any names. But it doesn't matter what the outside world can call us. And there is an African proverb that says, if you don't have any enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. So it doesn't matter how people call us. Anybody who has the faintest knowledge of the history of this country knows that this country is great because of us immigrants. You all are great. And don't believe in nothing less than that. Thank you very much.
But I'm going to try. Hi, I'm Juliet, and I'm going to be talking today about decision. First, I want to say whoever's decision to make me go next after him, you're getting fired. Because that was a terrible one. But decision. So before I start, I want you guys to think about this. Choice and decision. So what comes first? Does the choice come before the decision, or does the decision come before the choice? So when I think of decision, I usually think about choices, because I'm thinking, okay, there's some things that I have to make before I get to making this decision. And that's exactly what it is. There's a correlation in my mind when I think of decision. I automatically think of choices. So whether you're buying a house, whether you're planning your vacation, whether you're deciding on where your kids are going to go to school, every day we're opting out of doing one thing or the other. And I think sometimes we choose and sometimes we decide. And doing one over the other can sometimes get you in trouble. So making a choice when you are supposed to be making a decision can sometimes lead you to some dangerous things. And I can attest to some of those. So in the book, it talks about procrastination is the opposite of decision. When I read that, I was like, I don't know, because I'm a big procrastinator. I'm not going to lie, I completed majority of my master program procrastinating about the papers, because I hate writing papers. So I would wait, paper would be due at midnight. I'll wait till about 10, 11, pushing it, and then start the paper. But I think most of my best work were done in that moment, because I knew at that time it was crunch time. I had to get it done no matter what. So I think sometimes procrastination, instead of being seen as the opposite, sometimes it just puts the little fire under and gets you like, okay, you need to go, you need to decide or choose now, and you need to do it. So that's just an example of this. So when I was looking, trying to decide on decision, I decided to do my own research about decision and choice. So it says decision is the act or need to make one's mind. And choice is the right, the power, or an opportunity to choose. So decision is kind of linked to your mind, and then the choice is an opportunity to choose kind of right or wrong. So our decisions can range from all kinds of scope, from low impact to high impact, while our choices are an opportunity for us to choose something. And these are usually based off of our values and our beliefs. and some of our perception. A choice is usually made on a perception. So choice is a mindset, so choosing between right or wrong. And when it comes to decision, I think decision it does not imply the existence of alternatives. So kind of like a choice, you can choose between this or that. While a decision is driven from a need or goal, and sometimes a problem. You have a problem and you have to decide on what you need to do. And this is a process it's a process oriented rather than just making kind of a choice on the verge. Decisions are process oriented. So here are some key points I want you to take. So if you want someone to choose, it implies that you've already decided for them. But if you want someone to decide, you're giving them that power and you're having them use their mind to choose alternatives. So focus on making decisions rather than making choices. Once you choose to make a decision, you start to put together facts. So once you choose to make decisions, you start to put together facts. And Napoleon Hill, in his book, The Law of Success, it says, the man of decision cannot be stopped. The man of indecision cannot be started. So take choice. The decision is the goal. The choice is the task and the steps that you do to accomplish that goal. So here are 3 things I want you guys to think about as you leave tonight. And I can tell you from my personal experience, I've made some decision. I made the decision to join ALG, which is a group that focuses on empowerment. I've made choices since joining that group to participate in public speaking class, to help out with the kids' debate. So these are the tasks and the things that I'm doing to kind of help me with that goal, that decision. So decisions are intentional. Choices are optional. Decisions are thought upon. Choices are made on the spot. Decisions lead to results. Choices create crossroads. Thank you.
And this is what really makes it a setup. Somebody calls you, you're having a public training, public speaking class, and all of a sudden you're in front of a senator, all the people, and I mean, it's not done like that in Africa. You follow due process. This is on African, you know? Africans, we follow due process. Oh, I'm just kidding, man. Nice job, all right? So today I'm talking about, extract from Think and Grow Rich. And basically the book, in a nutshell, was kind of trying to make us come to the reality of the fact that what we think about is actually key. And for the first time, a book actually linked thought, a spiritual, concept, to the reality of the fact that thought actually creates wealth. How could thought, thinking, lead to manifestation of abundance? How does that happen? And so that was what Napoleon Hill left as a legacy for humanity. That the thought, the thought, subliminal thought, thinking, intangibles can give birth to tangibles. That an intangible concept, your thought, your thinking. And here, Napoleon Hill made us realize that thought is actually energy in motion. Energy in motion. That once you conceive of something, a thought, a concept, is a seed, and you take the time to incubate it, you mull over it, you take a decision that, I want to leave Africa and go to the United States and get something done. That's a seed. Now, as you continue to mull over it, that's a gestation going on. You're incubating it. It's like a chicken lying on the egg for a period of time, and the egg became eventually a chick. What happened? Incubation was going on as you conceived the thought as seed. So as you conceive thought as seed, and you continue to incubate it, Napoleon Hill made his generation realize that thinking actually can make you grow rich. But how do you enrich your thinking? How do you enrich your thinking?
You know, because birds can fly everywhere, but, over your head. Those are thoughts coming, like birds flying over your head. But you wouldn't allow any bird to place a nest on your head and put eggs there and start. So some thoughts actually flow into you that are not going to create wealth, obviously, right? And those are destructive thinking. Thinking that actually gets you out of the mainstream of wealth creation. So Napoleon Hill, in the book, and just the book as a platform of exchange, taught us that thought as energy propels action. And thought as energy gives birth to tangible things that we can feel, touch, smell. So the way you're dressed right now is a copulation of thought. The food you're going to take tonight is a copulation of thought. The car you drive is a projection of the way you've thought over time. You incubated it, you created it. So you are a creator, a creative thinker in motion. So anytime you conceive something and you ask yourself, the gestation is you have to now break. Now that I'm thinking of this, is this what I really want to give birth to? Now that I'm thinking of marriage, what are the consequences of going into this? Now that I'm thinking of this. So as you think of anything that you want to create in the physical or material world, first of all, remember, it's a spiritual concept. It's a swirling of thought. And the thought has its vibrational frequency. It attaches to you because you think more of it, you incubate it. So I want to buy a property, and I don't have the initial money. But the fact that you're thinking of it and incubating it, the vibrational frequency of life, the cosmos, it has a way of gyrating in a way, bringing people towards you, bringing ideas, things you never thought of. You meet somebody and all of a sudden they're talking about real estate. And you're asking, how did this happen? It was your seed, the seed that you have conceived as thought, has now created a gyrational vibration that has attracted people of like mind who are actually also operating in that frequency and created a crossroad. So it creates a crossroad. You meet somebody, he's talking about capital for investment in real estate. Oh, the thing fell off. We never had rehearsals. He forced me into this. Sorry, Papa, I'm just, so as you think of it, the thoughts conceived as a seed, then people started coming. You're thinking about going to public office. All of a sudden, you are meeting a senator while you're on your way to the bathroom. How does that happen? The seed has been conceived. The period of mulling over it is the gestation for incubation. As you incubate it, life gives you what you asked of life. So the more you ask of life, of the positive, joyful, lovely things, how to help other human beings, how to elevate the vibrational frequency of the earth we live in, you continue to see your deep, joy-filled, lovely desire manifested. That is what I learned from the book. Thank you very much.
My name is Kadi Kuyete. I'm from Mali. And then honestly, I'm just following him. That's becoming a real challenge for me tonight. Because first of all, Papa invited us without telling us the main reason. And then now I'm wearing my rain boot in front of the senator. I get up from home since 6:15 a.m. and then no way to go home and then change myself and then come back. Second, I'm following this guy who did just an amazing speech now. So I'm just gonna try to do my best, but don't blame me. All right, so by the way, I think the worst default that I had it in my life was to be perseverant, no matter what was the reason. And then after reading this book, Think and Grow, I think that wasn't a weakness anymore. It was a key success for me. Why I didn't realize that I was succeeding by being perseverant, I realized after reading this book that I was succeeding. So one thing that I will deliver today is to be perseverant in your life. That's the most powerful message that I have to deliver to you guys tonight. And then that's the chapter that I read it. When we come here, we all have one default. You shouldn't do this. That's how we were built up in back home. Just follow your fears. Just don't do this because of religious purposes. Don't this. That doesn't belong to your education. You woman, you shouldn't do this. Have you said who between us have sit down one day and then set a goal and then go at least through the 3 first steps? None of us. Because when we started and then we get some difficulty, we all like, okay, this is not for me, I'm just gonna give up. No. How many of us are just trying to build our life after 10 years, 15 years here? Why we could build it up in 5 years, in 3 years? I know people here, they came just in United States, why they couldn't say even good morning. But in 5 years, they have their master. I'm a true example of that. The day that I came in United States here, I couldn't say good morning. Today I have my master in finance. I'm here less than 6 years. So, one thing that I need to tell you guys, one thing that you guys need to know, how many of you guys have refused to set a high expectation because of criticism? How many people refuse to open business because of the fear criticism? Don't just do procrastination without cause or just because of lack of interest. That is not typical for an educated leader. Leave the habit of railing instead of creating a plan. Leave the habit of blaming others why it should be your main responsibility. Don't just sit down and then say, okay, this person should do that for me. No. You should take the first step, and then that person will try to help you. But sitting home, crying, and then blaming others is not going to help you. That's not the way that a leader, an educated leader, should be perseverant in life. My vision is to be a leader with vision and then determination. I do that for my own person, for my little one, and then for my country, because I know women have no say in Africa. So tonight, I challenge each of you guys not just to read a book. I know it will be hard. Even for myself, it's hard. I work up full time. But to determine what was the best wish that you had in life, either business, project, or personal wishing, and then you keep persisting to achieve that will. When we were in class, most of us were saying our wishes before we die. Okay, great. I want to be a great mom. I want to build a house. I want to buy a car. I want to do this. I want to do this. But what are you going to do for your community? You came with this community. At least there is someone that helped you one day. It's not about the money. It's about countenance and then accountability. So I challenge each of you guys tonight, when you go home, or either when you sit down in your car, or just when you walk down from this door, and then just think about that biggest wishes that you had in life, and then you didn't go through. You can take it. You can do it. You can do it. I'm sorry. You can take that step. You can do it. And then I'm pretty sure if you're being persistent in doing it, you're going to succeed it. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Arinze. I'm from Nigeria. I was asked to speak on this topic at the very last minute. But with my characteristic of not saying no to requests, I took it. So tonight I'm going to be talking about the power of the mastermind. Let me make it clear. This is strictly a discussion on the accumulation and retention of money. The required power follows a principle which transcends every religion, every race, and every political affiliation. So the fundamental principles described in this presentation should not in any way be associated with any religion, any race, or any political affiliation. The topic is the power of the mastermind. First of all, what is power? There are a zillion definitions of power out there. But for this discussion, I have chosen two of them. The first one is that power is the ability to do something. The ability to act in a particular way. It could be mental and it could be physical. And the second definition of power that I've adopted is organized and intelligently directed knowledge. Is an organized and intelligently directed knowledge. Power as defined here refers to an organized effort that is adequate to enable an individual to convert a desire to monetary equivalent. In this presentation, I am going to dwell in the second definition of power, the organized and intelligently directed knowledge. This knowledge, I have identified through the book 3 sources of this knowledge. The first one, the infinite intelligence. This is the source of creative expression and the essential power in the universe. Our infinite intelligence determines how we see and feel about ourselves, how we relate with others, and the way we experience life. So while we see certain things as fun, others don't see it that way. The second one is accumulated experience. This is an addition of all the experiences that have existed from foundation of the earth to the present time. It has been organized in certain areas, in formal settings, in higher institutions, in universities. It has been graded as courses, subjects, and you can also acquire this through vast reading of books. And the third source of knowledge is through experiments and research. We all know that on a daily basis, discoveries are gathered and grouped together and is available. And it's mostly essential when the accumulated experience is not available. So knowledge, when acquired through these 3 sources, may be converted into power by organizing it into definite plans. And those plans can now be turned into actions. These sources of knowledge also show that it is difficult for just one individual to depend solely on himself. For comprehensive and large efforts, others must be introduced to cooperate in the acquisition of power. That brings us to the mechanism of bringing 2 or more people together, which the book called Gaining Power Through the Mastermind. This is the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. This mastermind has 2 characteristics. The first one is economic, and the second one is psychic. The economic advantage may be created by any person who surrounds himself with the advice, counsel, personal cooperation of a group of people who are willing to lend him assistance in a perfectly harmonized spirit. This form of cooperative alliance has been the basis of nearly every great fortune. The understanding of this great truth may positively change one's financial status in life. The psychic base has a little bit of spiritual connotation to it. But in a very simple way of putting it, you will notice that when two people or more are gathered in a group and they're having a conversation, you get ideas that were not even there originally. You get ideas that we are not even informed by what was being discussed in the gathering. This is what board meetings, office meetings are all about. In the board meetings, in the office meetings, you are made to speak no matter what. And in putting minds together, greater power emanates from the common discussion. As we listen, I want us to think and meditate. Money as we know it is elusive, but power is necessary and required to win it. But for the power to be successfully used in the pursuit of money, it must be mixed with faith. It must be mixed with desire. It must be mixed with persistence. It must be applied through a plan, and that plan must be set in action. The energy involved in accumulation of money consists of one thinking process. Only one thinking process. And it can only be one thinking process. But every individual decides which direction of the thinking process to follow. One, the negative emotion side, which carries one to poverty. Two, the positive emotion of thought, which carries one to fortune. Great fortune. Thank you.
First of all, I randomly came to this place about 3 weeks ago for a whole different reason. And now I'm just joining the class, and I'm asked to actually do a presentation and a whole different topic too. I'm going to promise you guys, I'm about to switch the topics. I know we heard faith, decision, power. Well, actually my topic leads to power, of course, but just a whole different topic. And another thing also that I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not the one that chose my topic, so I'll put the blame on fate. And Papa, of course. I'm here to talk about step 10, which is the mystery of sex transmutation. It's actually part of Think and Grow Rich, of course. And don't be uncomfortable about the topic. Actually, because of the ignorance on the subject, that's the reason why every time we mention sex, our state of mind automatically focuses on the physical aspect of it. But I'm here to tell you guys that the emotion of sex can also lead to millions and billions of dollars through a simple concept called transmutation. But first of all, what is transmutation? Transmutation means transferring energy from one form to another form of energy, or just look at it as a change of energy from one form to a different form of energy. So transmutation, sex transmutation means basically the mind switching thoughts from the physical aspect of it to a different form of expression, I'll say. And as you all know, the sex emotion is the most powerful emotion that we all have as humans. And when we're driven by that emotion, we're willing to take a whole different type of risk, I'll say. And I'll say. Sorry. It's a different topic. Yes, sex transmutation is the secret to a creative ability. That's actually what the writer of the book, Napoleon Hill, told us. And that's because of the emotion that we have and the powerful stimulant that we actually get from that emotion, because it increases the intensity of thought. And once again, remember, the title of the book is Think and Grow Rich. So it's all about basically increasing the intensity of the thought, thinking how to become rich. But what can lead us to thinking on how to become rich? And basically, the emotion of sex is one of the most powerful ones. It's actually the most powerful. So he also mentioned in the book that some of the greatest politicians or richest people that we all know have one thing in common. They all have a very well developed sex nature. He specifically used Lincoln. Lincoln actually, he was not able to activate his genius until he met his wife Anne. And another powerful personality also was Napoleon Bonaparte, who was invincible. He actually used to win all his wars, but his source of inspiration was his wife Josephine, and that was the main driver of all of the wars that he actually won. So the one thing that all these people have in common is the fact that they were able to transmute the energy, the sexual energy that they had, into a different form of energy. So they all knew that we all influenced by emotion. So they actually will use the sex transmutation to invoke a different type of emotion towards us to basically make us either listen to them, do business with them, or just let them lead us. And that became the power that they all had. So before I actually finish, well, in conclusion, I'll say if you understand the art of the sex transmutation and master it, you will actually find a way to attract prosperity and achieve any goals that you set for yourself. And also remember that we all can activate our creative energy, and the sky is the limit. Different topic, different topic.
I'm about to tell you a story, and it's about a little girl. That little girl is so dear to me that everything that ever happened to her deeply affected me. So hi everyone, my name is Mariella Coco, and today I'll be presenting on Subconscious Mind chapter of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So before even starting by giving my presentation, I'd like to give you a roadmap of it. So first I'll start by giving you the definition of the subconscious mind and how it is beneficial to people. And then I will carry forward by talking about my personal example and how it affects and can be affected by the subconscious mind. And I will then conclude through my example by giving you some steps or advices that can be taken forward. So first I'll start by giving you the definition of the subconscious mind. So what is the subconscious mind? It's actually working as a platform or like an intermediate between abstract or non-practical elements such as desire, plan, or positive or negative impulses, transform it to their actually physical equivalent. So a huge impact and beneficial aspect of it will be to be in control of that. So who's here want to be in control of everything that is happening to the life? Raise your hand if you do want to be in control of everything. Yeah, of course, everybody, right? But the subconscious mind actually cannot be entirely in control of, and I'll share with you this example here. So it's a story about this little girl. As I was telling you, at the age of 5, 6 years old, this girl was just so extroverted and she was so impressive. She was always running for student representative for her classes. She was part of all this fantastic dance group jazz, ballet, traditional. She was even doing her own choreography. She was also part of this acting group, and she was performing in front of over 500 people at that time. But as time grew, this little girl started to show fear. Fear of criticism, but most importantly, fear to fail. And actually, the way she was dealing with that is that she started to push herself down to the point where she won't be surprised or disappointed. So it will be an excuse for her, you know, if failure should occur, she could be like, you know, you were not even ready for that or whatever. So, of course, this fear overcome her ultimate goal, who was at first to be a lawyer. Yes, the little girl wanted to be a lawyer. So the subconscious mind actually is not lazy. So if you stop feeding him with positivity, it will take every little thought and all the negativity, process it, and make it physical. So actually the little girl that I was talking about is standing here in front of you with my introverted personality. But luckily enough, you know, I'm now part of this group, and actually I had to thank my aunt, and Auntie Pascal here. She's the one who introduced me to this fantastic group, and yeah, I'm ready to get back to all of my leadership skill that I made lost. So to conclude, I will say through my personal example, you know, subconscious mind definitely have a big power and impact people, and also can be impacted by your behavior. So always feed it with positivity in order to be in control of all these undesirable thoughts that might be affect your subconscious mind. Thank you.
You did it.
Ah.
I got it.
Okay.
Starting off, the first thing that came to my mind when I was reading this book was about the story about two little boys. These little boys was immigrants from Senegal, West Africa. One named Usman, and the other one named was Samba. They moved here and grew up in the same neighborhood. They went to the same school, did the same things. They played basketball, played soccer, and interacted with the neighborhood kids like every other kid. Usman and Samba was very close. They did everything after school together. They went to school. And you know how it is living in an environment where you're really not sure about who are you or yourself. And as a kid, all these things, peer pressure, is just building up. And I think that's what got to Usman and Samba. So Usman and Samba got into a little activity back when they was 15. They wanted to be like the cool kids. They wanted to dress up, pull their pants down, you know, hang around with the wrong crowd. And Samba really enjoyed it. He was like, man, yo, we get all the girls, we do all this. Man, this is good. You can smoke a little bit, do this. And Usman as well was playing football at the same time. And one day, the coach brought in a speaker named Ross Smith. Have you guys heard of Ross Smith? He came and he talked about one thing. And I asked you guys the same question he asked us in that room that one day. Do you guys know what's the richest place on earth? No, the graveyard. You guys talked about it. And he talked about how the graveyard is so rich because at the graveyard you find these dreams that are dead. Inventors, imaginations that could have been created in this world that we live in. And I was sitting in that room and I was like lined up at that moment and thinking, wow, where am I in my life right now? Do I want to die knowing I could do something? Or I could be something? And after that day when I went home, and he touched on it, building a vision board. And I went home and I wrote down all my goals and the things I wanted to achieve in this life. And this brings me back to the book. And he talks about vibrations and manifesting your destiny and your desire. And I was sitting in that room that night, and just all these thoughts come into my head. And I'm thinking about this book again, about how our thoughts create these vibrations in our world. And going back to the story, Usman ended up graduating high school. Samba as well did graduate high school, but Usman went off to college because he had that in his dream board. But Samba had got caught up in the life here in this country. Right now, Samba's in jail. It hurts me, but I know I could have been that kid as well. And as I go back to this book again, it talks about desire and wanting to do something. And if your mind could conceive it, your body could achieve it. And that's what I want to leave you guys by. Thank you.
Test. When I look at you, I see the heaven very flavory. I see the sun, girl, how you shine. Oh, sorry. I was thinking I was invited to sing. Okay, by the way, my name is Rich. I do appreciate the opportunity to be here to share my vision, my hope, my dream, and especially to share a piece of myself on this pulpit. And first of all, I want to thank someone who helped me to achieve greatness in life, is God. Because while I'm here, someone better than me, someone richer than me, someone stronger than me is in hospital, is in prison, is just begging God, oh God, give me just one chance to live. But I'm here. That's why I want to be thankful. I want to be thankful to Papa too, because, you know, it's not easy to just give your stage to someone that you barely know to speak, because there's a power in the pulpit. Someone can change. There's a change. There's a positive or negative change on the pulpit, but without knowing, you introduce me to the voice of my call. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful also every time when I come in class, I saw my classmates. I'm like, oh, you guys are so good. If there's one word to qualify you, I'm going to say, you guys are genius. When I see you guys, thank you. You know what? When I see you guys, I see the seed of greatness. I see CEO. I see millionaire. I see billionaires. I see next president. So be proud of yourself. Today, I'm invited here. Oh, thank you so much also because of your time. It's not easy, you know, in this country. Every time, you know, everybody are so busy, and thank you so much. Today, I'm inviting here to talk about Think and Grow Rich. So I want you to do me a favor. I'm not here to talk about Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. I want you to personalize this topic. Say, I think and I grow rich. Can you repeat with me? I think. You know what? You can do it with conviction. Say, I think and I grow rich. You know, while you are thinking, you know, some people just think, but they think wrong. That's why I want you to think right, right? Because it's general. When I say I think I grow rich, it's general. I want you to think right. Because when you think right, you do things right, right? So I want you to, while you are thinking right, I want you to think big. Because when you think bigger, you don't think about yourself, you think about the next generation. You think about those who are around you, those who want to impact. And this is my mission today. I don't want to, you know, put you in the philosophy thing, you know, I want you to realize that there's a power inside of yourself. There's something that you can do with your gut, okay? So, like I say, the little story about Think and Grow Rich, a few years ago, I bought a book, and I was reading, I see Rockefeller and something. I see there's some ingredient who miss here. So I just put I took my pencil, I put my name. I said, my name might be here too, okay? Because I'm here to make an impact. It's not just about them, it's about me too, and it's about you too. And I believe that you can do it. If they can do it, that means you can do it. So while I was thinking about this subject of think and grow rich, you know, when you meditate on thinking, you think about vision, you think about plan, you think about dreams. But let me tell you something about vision and dream. There's some people who have a dream, and there's some people who live their dream. You know, it's one thing to have a dream. You just sleep in your bed and you see that, oh, you have $1 billion, you have $1 million in your bank account. You have, all the kind of cars, Lamborghini, and you wake up, you're broke. But, you know, but there's another thing when you dream that you have $1 million, you have all those things, and when you wake up, you know that in your garage, there's Lamborghini over there. There's money in your bank. That's why I want you to touch somebody and say, live your dream. Tell him with conviction, live your dream. Don't just have a dream. I want you to live your dream today. Okay, so let me now get into my topic. No, it's just an introduction, sorry. Okay, I'm going to talk about intuition, but I'm going fast, you know. Okay, let me cut it short so I can link it. Okay, if there's one title that I'm going to give to my topic, say, be the hero of my life movies. Because my life is a movie. Your life is a movie. Be the hero. But there's two kinds of hero. There's one kind of hero. There's those heroes, when they fail, they just stay there until the story finishes. But the second kind of hero is the one who fell and is just, you know, you get up and say, oh, I want to go until I achieve. And I think this is kind of hero that I want you guys to be. And this is kind of hero that I want also to be, because we are the hero of our own movie, okay? Today I'm talking about intuitions. So to give you just the context of what I read about the book, it's about Napoleon Hill. So he was thinking that all those people that impacted his life, he was around the table with them, you know. He was taking some quality, good quality for them, you know, that he can use in real life. But what's the message? Because the message is something important, right? The message is that there's something inside of you that we call God, that you can do whatever you want to do it. You know, I read a book about think fast and slow, and they have two kinds of thinking. Say, there's a logical thinking, which is the second one, but there's an intuitive thinking. It's something that just come like that, you know, just come like that. And he say, is this intuitive thinking that make Bill Gates what he is now. So let me tell somebody here, don't chase money, chase a billionaire idea. Because people just chase money, say, oh, I want to become rich, but rich people, they don't chase money, they chase billionaire idea. What? Facebook is a billionaire idea. What Zuckerberg just say, oh, I want to connect people together. It was just the idea. Bill Gates, he say, oh, okay, I know I'm not really smart, but what I want to do is to create a computer that every household can have it. Because even he was quoted, say, oh, I failed in some subject in my class, but now I'm owner of Microsoft. But one guy who was succeed in his class, he was engineer. So it's just a billionaire idea. Everything that we hear here is about the idea. If you see this house, it's an idea. If you see car, it's an idea. If you don't have idea, you're going to follow the idea of someone else. That's why it's really important to work on yourself, to find your idea. What is your idea? What is your statement of your life that you believe that you want to achieve? What is this idea? My friend Baba talk about, I am great. This is the statement of Muhammad Ali. Whatever is going to happen, this is my statement. Okay, so chase the billionaire idea. Let me talk about intuition. Let me give you a little definition of intuition. Intuition is this small voice inside of you, but sometimes you just close or you don't listen to it. But research proved that 60% of those who succeed, they succeed because they hear this inner voice. Because intuition doesn't obey to the reason. Because reason, sometimes our reason is not our reason. Our faith is not our faith. Our faith is is our pastor faith because he preached at church, or our imam, in the mosque, he preached, say, oh, I believe that. But what is your own experience? Is the thing that's better. I have a friend who was, her dad was one of president of, in Africa. And she told me, oh, Rich, you know what? How my dad became president? I said, no, I don't know. Explain to me. I said, one day, so they're supposed to travel with the former president. And while they get at the airport, and the former president said, no, I feel that you must stay. It seemed like something gonna happen. But if something happen, you're gonna rule after me. And say, no, I must go because it's a great conference. I want to go. Say, no, stay. And when they travel, 2 hours or 3 hours later, he heard at a radio station that airplane crashed, and dad became president after this. Is what? Because he just listened to the voice. You don't obey to the reason. So I'm going to conclude here. I know I'm too long. But I want you to realize, there's one thing I learned. I took a stage presence with Usher. And so there's one thing that he says is a good exercise. Say, close your eyes and try to think about this world that you want to live. Think about maybe stadium or church or mosque or whatever. Just project yourself and feel the energy and feel the moment, how you can move the people, feel our people. So I want you guys personally, to go at home, to think about that. Project yourself. If you have your idea, project yourself. Do you think, be honest with you, do you think you have what it takes to become rich? Do you think that? Do you think? Because there's one thing to become rich, but the way to become rich is not easy. So every time I say the difference between thinking and growing is time. How many time you spend on yourself to develop yourself? How many time you spend to connection with people? How many time you spend to grow? To read, tell me what kind of friends you visit. Tell me what kind of book you are reading. Tell me what kind of thing you are doing, and I'm going to tell you what kind of person you are. Because everything that you are doing, people that you interact with, influence your life. So I think this message is for you. You're born original. Don't die like a copy. Thank you.
Well done. Good evening, everybody. Tonight, I would first and foremost thank each and everybody to have taken all their time to listen to us students. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rosemary, and I come from Kenya. It's quite a privilege to have been given this opportunity to be in this platform tonight. And my topic tonight is with all of us. It's fear and its definition. Why they chose me is because I have lived enough to see the fear. What is fear? What is fear? Fear is actually an emotional awareness that affects our lives. Fear is sin. Fear can make you have a certain kind of inferiority complex that even when we are coming in the room here, you see a snake, you can't tell us the snake is there to bite us because of fear. Fear can be twisted because when we raise kids, and of course some of us, we don't know the difference between respect and fear. You've just seen on the news, the little girl guides have come together and their voices have been heard because kids were feared when the parents used to smoke in the car. But at least because of their voice, now the government is going to pass on there will be no smoking while you have kids in the car. I still go back to fear. While I came all the way from Africa, where the women's voice were not heard. Of course, truly being in America, I've overcome that fear. I've overcome that fear because most of us women, when we are back home in Africa, we have no say. When the men come here, they are told only one wife. And that's good for us. When we go back to another aspect of fear, the first thing you have to do is to connect, have direct connection with God. Why? Can you answer why? Because God is the only person you give fear. But to your friends, to your relatives, and any soul of a human being, you give respect. So don't twist between fear and respect. We are putting now, let's talk the other aspect of fear. Right now we are having the immigration policy, and we are not going to cheat ourselves, that we are now seeing our family being divided, deported back to their places. That's fear. But you need to know we can overcome the fear by actually identifying some members of the community that can hear our voices. We need to know how to vote. We don't need just to be fearful and we don't go out there. And what I should tell you, for me to put my shoes to fit this one and become a student, this is home. After reading this Think and Come Rich, it's taught me a lot. It's taught me how I can talk to you, because before I feared. I am a leader, but I did not know how to present myself sometimes because I came from Africa. Now, the experience I'm having with our fellow Africans here, some of them have a lot of fear, but when we try to motivate them, there are two classes. Some of them, the challenge we have is English. They speak only Swahili. But we put them to go for their interview. And some who don't have fear will go there, talk their broken English, and come back and tell us we've passed. Because when they see the examiner will also determine you to be a good citizen. So for some, we'll actually see the examiner and go to the bathroom and don't come back. It's that serious. So I would have given more time, I would have talked more about fear, but I think I should keep it short and sweet. Thank you.
Okay, so let's just have a round of applause for everybody that was here today. Good job. How many of you actually learned something tonight? Right? There was so much wealth of information in that book. I really enjoyed, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the presentations. As I said, this is still like we're still learning on how to present, and as we go on, it's gonna be even better. But thank you so much for joining us tonight and being a part of this. And I'm gonna give it to Papa to finish off.
Thank you for sitting through this presentation. Honestly, they do deserve a round of applause. I mean, honestly, this is incredible. And this is what it means to be part of a community, because they couldn't be here and just talking to themselves. They go to classes every Tuesday, and they were very anxious to have the opportunity to show to you what they have learned. And this is just after 4 classes, and they have to go until the end of March. So we are looking forward to an amazing graduation, and you will be informed. And now, this is what I want to leave you with. We need your help. We need your help to be part of this organization. Everything we're trying to do, we cannot do it without the community. Like I mentioned on my opening remark, education is the key to a successful community. We have to start educating our children. We have to start educating the parents, because quite often, I believe that all parents have the desire to get their children to the best performing school. That's a fact. But along the way, how do we have access to the school? Unfortunately, we are part of a district. There are a lot of non-performing schools. That's the reality. Our children go to school, they come home, and we are just building generation of failure. Now, we have to do our part. And this is what we are doing as an organization. We have focus group where we bring parents and even people that are not parents to come, and we gather in this room and we have a conversation. So we have a focus group on March 23rd. Where's Sylvia? February 24th, from what time to what time? 6 to 8. We need your presence. As somebody mentioned, I think it's around the power of the mastermind. When we come together, because I don't have the solution to those concerns. We don't. But when we come together as a community, we can solve this issue. Our kids are failing. That's the reality. And we know when you go to the jail system, we're going to see more children that look like us than any other kids, because we're not there for them. So we are working on opening, Jessica and Meredith, please stand up. They are working on opening a charter school here in Aura. Thank you so much for being here. So we pass out some information, and this is what we want, people that can come and hear from us directly. So thank you. We look forward to have you part of the focus group and look along for this partnership. Wisdom, if you could stand up, please. Wisdom is from Togo. Actually, he's working on opening a high school here for children. Yes, and he's from Africa. So those are the things that we are talking about. So we need your help. Hope you had an amazing evening. Hope you enjoy all these students. Thank you. Let's take another 20 minutes to network, exchange phone numbers. Thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure.